Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our showcase this morning, which is all around MergeAI. We'll just give it a minute or two for everyone to join. It's bang on 10 o'clock, so we'll just kind of wait. Morning, Ian.
Morning, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
thanks. Weather's picking up now. We're in spring, which is brilliant.
definitely spring has sprung for sure. So yeah. Um, okay, we're a minute, and I think we begin. At least let's go through the agenda, and then we can crack on, and everybody can join as they come along.
Yeah,
Obviously,
sure.
the recording of the session is sent out to everybody who registered anyway. So whether they could join at the start or not, they will get the full recording. So agenda for today. Or intro from me and Mark, obviously. Why did we create MergeAI in the first place? Where did it come from? And we'll talk about what exactly is MergeAI, because you're probably all wondering what it is. What are the
Yeah.
components that make up MergeAI? Some various demos of the different facets of MergeAI, and then any questions at the end. If you do have any questions as you go through the session, then put them in the chat by all means. If there's any moments during the actual webinar where we can actually answer those questions, we will, but otherwise we'll probably take those questions at the end.
Yeah.
So move on to the intro. Mark, I'll let you go first.
Thank you very much, Ian. So I'm Mark Stamper. I'm Chief Digital Transformation Officer at Iglu. So I head up our digital transformation team, and we build and look after all of our solutions which cater to obviously digital transformation. So that encompasses everything SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, Power Platform, Power BI, Copilot, and more.
I'm Ian Parkstrack. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Iglu. So I drive all marketing strategies to enhance our brand presence, expand our market reach. I've got ever-growing experience in digital marketing and brand management. I lead campaigns that boost brand recognition, revenue growth, and I'm absolutely committed to positioning Iglu as a market leader in what is a fairly niche role as an MSP who does a lot more, much more than the usual MSP in the market. And we take our customers on the full digital transformation journey.
We do. Okay, right. So next on, this might seem a little bit, why did we create it when we haven't described what it is? But this will kind of make sense. So why did we create MergeAI? Well, we've been implementing Copilot for customers for a little over a year now. And there were certain key lessons that we've kind of learned as we've kind of gone through there. One of the things there is ensuring that you know who has access to what, both internally and externally. So it's all around about understanding your data, who can access it. So there's a lot of data in all of your tenants. Your security may not always be well understood. You may not know who's got access to what. With the amount of data out there, security through obscurity can sometimes protect you, but Copilot does have the potential to kind of to pick up on data that users may not know they have access to. So that was one of the things that we've kind of learned is to make sure that you absolutely know who's got access to what, tidy that up and secure that before you launch Copilot. The other thing we've learned as well that Copilot really likes structure and order. If you think of all of your data as if your data is kind of all a bit of a mess in SharePoint, if you think of it like a big pile of books on the floor, you put Copilot over the top, it'll probably be able to find a lot of the stuff you're kind of looking for, but it's kind of having to pick through those pages, and it's not always able to do a very good job. But if you think of your data as stored in neat filing cabinets where everything's categorized and everything's tagged and understood, Copilot will be able to do a much better job of being able to understand and analyze that data, particularly when we talk about agents, which we'll come on to right towards the end of the demo. That's where having your data structured really kind of comes to the fore. And investing in training as well, making sure that your users understand how to use Copilot as well as all the digital tools that you've given them access to. Getting your training in early, sharing those best practices, and continually learning on those. And the other thing we've learned as well is using agents to cover the niche and specific use cases. So Copilot as is when you deploy it is fantastic. You know, using it in Teams meetings. How many hours has that saved you in the last 6 months, Ian? Having your having the transcript available in a Teams meeting and being able to write notes and interrogate that.
Yeah, I've lost count of the amount. I was actually I couldn't attend an important meeting last week, but to actually get the full transcription of every
Yeah.
time a name was mentioned, even during a meeting, was fantastic thereafter. So yeah, just that alone, that meeting transcription is yeah, a lifesaver at times. So yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree.
So all of these things and more, we looked at it and thought, right, we've got customers implementing Copilot. These are the key lessons we've learned. How can we address those? How can we kind of put a bundle together which can allow us to implement Copilot successfully, but also make the best use of people's data?
So what is MergeAI? So it's essentially a suite of applications that make work easier and faster. It uses AI and automation, which helps employees focus on the important tasks and reduce any boring kind of manual work. Because let's face it, we all have elements of that in the workplace. This will help save your business money and boost efficiency by combining the very best key cloud solutions. It's totally flexible, can grow with your company, making it perfect for businesses that want to improve their operations, increase efficiency, employee productiveness, and happiness in the workplace. Business rates, government enforced costs, national insurance being a perfect example, are all on the up. So getting the very most out of your people and processes is now more important than ever. So that's a quick overview of what MergeAI is. Go through the components. So got employee experience home. So this will enhance the digital experience for employees. It's got a centralized web portal, perfectly branded to your organization's color scheme and branding. And you get quick links to the most common applications, company events, and there's obviously seamless navigation to all your key internal data. So that's employee experience home. Moving on to team sites. So we essentially create consistently branded spaces with a unified look and feel for all of your internal teams. And we safeguard your files with robust security. And this empowers your teams to share, innovate, and collaborate effortlessly. The brand center, my favorite. This is a
I was
centralized.
hoping you were going to say that, Ian. I would
It is.
expect this to be your thing.
I look at ours every other day at least. So yeah.
Good.
So this is a centralized repository. Houses all your brand guidelines, obviously, which is a big deal for me. All the stock imagery, your icons, and more in one place. So this ensures that you get visual consistency across all your platforms. That empowers your team to maintain brand integrity effortlessly.
I just want to kind of add on there as well. So this can act as a centralized repository for all of your Word and PowerPoint templates. So it's quite a common scenario for organizations to have templates for sales proposals, project plans. They've got PowerPoint kind of decks, and they're often kind of buried away in a file server somewhere, or they're buried away in SharePoint. People aren't always sure that they've got access, you know, where it is, if they've got access to the latest version. There were sometimes issues around them opening up the template, inadvertently making changes, and it really is a lot more of a headache than it really should be. But storing those centrally like this means you can store your templates in a single location, and they are available directly from within Word and within PowerPoint. So you don't need to go and find the template. You don't need to email anyone to say, where's that latest template for for the sales reports. What you can do is you can just open up Word, you can open up PowerPoint, click New, and along with all of the Microsoft templates, which come along as standard, you will have your own custom templates available right there, right where your users are working. That's an amazing feature, and Microsoft don't make enough of a song and dance about that, in my opinion. So we deploy those for you as well. That's a real killer feature.
Okay, the employee hub. It's basically an employee information portal. It's a comprehensive hub for everything you need to know about your organization. So here you can find obviously company strategy, your mission, your culture, benefits, HR policies, FAQs, and all the induction info, all in one central location. Ideal. The training hub. This is your one-stop shop for all your training materials. So Microsoft, all the custom Iglu solutions that we put in place for you. This helps you quickly find the support you need to maximize your investment in the 365 and Iglu developed solutions, all in one convenient place.
And then we've got the final component there, which is the Copilot readiness and implementation. So included in MergeAI is the implementation of Copilot. You need to purchase purchase your own licenses for Copilot, whether that's on a monthly or an annual subscription, and we can give you kind of details on that. But one of the things that we will do that is to scan all of your data. We will look for things like data that has been overshared, whether that's internally, whether that's externally. We kind of run scripts against your tenant. We look at every single file, look at the permissions of it, if it's shared externally, if it's shared internally, who's got access to it. This is a screenshot of an actual report, which I've anonymized. That allows us to kind of really quickly and easily drill into your data and then present back to your report to say, you've got some issues here, you're oversharing here. These are the remediation steps that we'd recommend to fix those. If you're sharing external data, and sharing external data is absolutely fine, there's a legitimate reason to do that. But we will kind of look at those and we'll review that with you and recommend kind of best practices just to make sure that everything is as secure as it possibly can be right before you implement Copilot.
So why MergeAI?
Good question.
Well, firstly, boost productivity, which you mentioned earlier. So this, you automate routine tasks, you centralize your activities. That frees up your employees for more strategic thinking work. I mean, I've got some stats to kind of back this up. Companies have reported that using AI has a 40% increase in productivity, which, yeah, it's pretty major. Cost savings. So you can save thousands with economies of scale, reducing operational expenses. So businesses leveraging AI can reduce operational costs by up to 30%, which is, again, we're talking a big number. That's a massive saving. And obviously also with the cost savings, how we bundle our solutions together already saves you thousands. If you were to buy these separately, it would take longer to implement them and longer to have an immediate kind of impact on your teams, but also it would be more expensive by doing these as a kind of bundled solution under the brand MergeAI. It's going to save you thousands. So engaged employees. So you keep morale high with the employee experience solution and the training hub. Highly engaged teams show a 21% increase in profitability. Again, pretty good. Streamlined processes. So this seamlessly integrates with Microsoft Teams, which Mark will show you, for efficient workflows and collaboration. 74% of employees say automation helps them work faster. It's a no-brainer, really. Yeah. And I can provide stats, sources for all the stats. I haven't just made them all up, honestly. So yeah, that's why MergeAI.
Yeah. I think it's one of the reasons that Copilot has been, has been so popular. If you think about the time that it saves you in a week, Ian, it only needs to save you a few hours a week, and then the cost of the license is more than paid for itself. I'd estimate it saves me easily on a per week, 5 hours a week. On a good week, probably more like 10. It can save me a day's worth of kind of donkey work of writing up meeting notes and manually searching for things, when I can just say to Copilot, find me that message from Ian which mentions this, because I don't know if it was in an email, if it was in a Teams message, and I can just say to Copilot, Ian and I discussed this, find me the message, and it will just kind of go out and bring it back, and it'll bring back any relevant documents. The amount of time that saves me every week is phenomenal.
Yeah, likewise.
I wouldn't want to go back, and I know you wouldn't either.
No, definitely not. I mean, obviously from a marketing aspect, content creation is one of the biggest challenges that you have. So AI support on that is fantastic, and likewise, kind of imagery creation, creating images which are unique. Again, is always a challenge. So having support on that from AI is a real massive time saver. Probably more than 5 hours a week. Put it that way.
And that's really
Yeah,
one of your bags, isn't it? The image
yeah,
creation. You're great at that, because
yeah.
all of those kind of custom images that go on LinkedIn. I'm still, every time I look at them, I'm still amazed and think, wow, that's
Well, obviously,
that's
as we know, Mark, the key to getting the best out of it is the
is to get
prompts
in the
that you put
prompt.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, yeah. So you've become the master at the image prompt.
it seems that way.
Yeah. Okay, right. Let's go on to a demo. Do we have any questions, Ian, just while I set up the demo and share my screen?
Not just yet, Mark. But
Okay,
anybody
cool.
else, feel free to drop them in there.
Right. Everyone should be able to see my screen. So what we've got here is the homepage experience that Ian talked about. It is branded. It's branded here in Iglu colors, but has been built for a fictional company called Asimov. So here we've got our home and our landing experience. Microsoft have made quite a lot of strides recently in the custom branding that's available within SharePoint. They've really delivered some really good changes, which allow us to kind of tweak the colors, even the fonts. This is an AI generated image at the top, by the way. I kind of went with the theme of artificial intelligence and robots here, and it's done a pretty good job of this. So this can be branded to your own colors, to your own look and feel. So what we've got as we scroll down, we've got right there on the front page, as Ian had said, we've got access to all of the key kind of company resources we might need on a day-to-day basis, whether they're internal to Microsoft 365 or whether they're out there on the internet. So you might have an external leave application, you might have an external expenses application, you might have an internal employee directory. These are those key resources that everyone needs, all linked to on the front page. You can see we've got the banners up the side there. Just small things like that Microsoft have introduced recently can really make a huge difference in terms of branding and in terms of employee engagement. And that's something that we talked about on a webinar that we did. I think that was back in September, Ian, about employee experience and kind of improving that. So do check that out. That is on our YouTube channel as well.
Yes.
And then we've got the latest news. It's quite common. We see a lot of different scenarios around kind of what's happening in organizations. Some will just send that out via email. Engagement via email is kind of always difficult because people have such a lot going on in their inboxes that they don't always kind of catch that. Some people will compile a monthly kind of PDF newsletter together and send that out. Again, producing quite a lot of work. What we've got here is an aggregation of news items from across not only this site, but any site that's connected to it. It's really quick and easy to be able to create a quick news story. We give you custom templates for that. So anyone who's got the permissions can just say new, they can open up the template, they can fill out the text, they can put in the images, and then publish that news feed. And here we can see I've got my monthly town hall, I've got the new office update. But if you see here where we've got Employee Hub, it's actually pulling in information from other sites as well. So here we've got information on a new starter. The Employee Hub is something we will kind of go on to. So it's bringing kind of everything together. Then we've got upcoming company events. So these are those high-level events which apply to everyone. It's not your team calendar. It's not your project calendar. It's not your leave calendar. It's not as granular as that. Those kinds of calendars belong in teams. But you can see we've got coming up, we've got a wellbeing week coming up, we've got the financial year end, and this is pulling from our training hub. So we've got a co-pilot brainstorming session coming up. So there's an event that was published in our training hub, again, something that we'll look at, all being aggregated here. And then we've got this section, which I've called My World. So this is tailored and targeted to me. So it's possible within SharePoint to target certain types of information to people based on their group memberships. So SharePoint knows who I am, it knows the department I work in, it could know my geographical location. And what it's able to do is push specific links to me. So I've got my resources. So you can see in this case, I work in the kind of admin team. I work in Ian's team. So I've got access to our LinkedIn admin, access to website statistics, and to marketing proposals. If I was someone who was in finance or HR, those links could be different, and they're all kind of targeted towards me and personalized. And again, with the news as well, it is possible to kind of push that information based on my membership. So I'm only seeing what's specific to me. And we've got a customer who uses this in a really interesting way. So they're a chain of hotels with 3 properties across London. Everyone has the kind of organization-wide news at the top, but as they scroll down, they've got their own individualized section, and it will show them what's happening in and around their location. So it might be new restaurant opening around the corner. It might be, oh, the road's going to be closed next week because they're putting up scaffolding. So it really helps to deliver that personalized experience, but also kind of allows people to filter the information and see what's relevant to them. Right, I'm going to scroll back up at the top here, and we'll look at some of those components which are delivered as part of MergeAI. Got my navigation menu across the top here. It's important to note that this is consistent wherever I go. It follows me through any of these experiences, meaning that I can get to anywhere from everywhere. So I've got all of my team workspaces here. They're divided up here by department. They can be divided up by geography, by any other kind of taxonomy. And this, as Ian talked about, is picking up all of your files. So it could be HR files, finance files, files for specific projects, and moving them into secured locations, moving them into Microsoft Teams. So I click through into my internal projects team. Again, you can see that consistent branding. The look and feel always follows me. And I've got my list of documents here, everything I've got access to. I can see who it was modified by, when it was modified. And I've even got things like the list of most recently edited documents there over on the right-hand side. So that could be documents edited by anyone. It could be documents edited by me. So again, I can have that kind of personalized view of that data. And all of this is available because it all exists in one single place in the cloud. It's the SharePoint site that sits behind Microsoft Teams. It's accessible here in the browser. It's available directly within the Teams application itself, or it is available as well in a kind of restricted manner via the OneDrive Sync application. So, but it's just important to know that everything is in a single location, no matter how you access it. Right, so I'm going to go over onto your favorite here, and that is the brand center. Right, so the brand center, as Ian said, it's a place to store all of our assets, whether they're used externally or internally. If I scroll down here, I've got access to our external brand. So it's things like brand guidelines, logo files. I've got a link there to our brand guidelines. Ian uses these every day, as he said. Our standard logos. We get asked this a lot, and it's really important that people have access to the correct logo files, that they are available in a high quality format, and that they can easily get to them. Because a number of conversations I've had over the years where people aren't sure where their logo files are, and they end up Googling it and finding perhaps an out-of-date version or something which isn't very high quality, and they're using that official document. So having that single source of that, which is high quality and curated, is really invaluable. And we've got LinkedIn headers as well. So if you've got a custom LinkedIn header that you give to your employees, as we do, if you check out my LinkedIn header, Ian's as well, we have our own Iglu branded link header. It's all available here for people to use. And go up to the internal brand, got access to all of the stock photos that we use internally. We've only got a small selection here. You can have thousands or tens of thousands of these. Again, many organizations, because they are quite brand focused, will be particular about the kinds of images that should be used in documents, and particularly within PowerPoint presentations. And just having a single library there could be categorized by different departments, different functions, different use cases, and just providing people with access to those, and allowing them to pick and choose that. It's interesting to note as well on previous webinars, Ian, where we've used Copilot to generate PowerPoint decks, and the question was asked around, can we get it to use our own images? Because it does a pretty good job, you know, on the last one where we got it to generate the PowerPoint deck about our dog grooming business. That was a fun that was a fun webinar. I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed putting that together. And it did a great job, and it found those images, and we've been asked the question lots of times, can we get it to use our own? Well, now you can. That feature is rolling out now. That is baked into the organization assets component where this is deployed, and you can configure Copilot with a certain prompt to say use an organization image. So it can scan this library. So if you want, you know, if you want something with people in a meeting, then it's got these kind of images to kind of choose from, rather than it perhaps going off on the internet. I'm saying going off on the internet, they're all Microsoft curated, and they are royalty free for use. But if you've got specific ones that you want to use, you can configure that, and you can allow Copilot to pick those up. So really, really powerful. Again, lends itself into the automation and AI side of things. And then we've got access to all of our internal icons, all there in the lovely Iglu Gold, and custom teams backgrounds as well. So as you can see, Ian and I, we have our own custom teams backgrounds, and they are deployed into this application for me here. Personalized as well, so that's all possible. Here I'm only seeing mine. When Ian logs into something like this, he only sees his background, so he can easily just pick and choose the different colors, download them, and import them directly into his teams.
Just keeps everybody consistent, doesn't it, Mark? Really.
Yeah.
Part of the brand, a massive part of that is consistency. So using the correct fonts, using the correct colors, hex codes for colors is a massive deal. So just having all of that information available for everybody is really key. You'll get people who are trying to put together certain documents. If they haven't got the right image and it's not the right color blue, then all their hard work is undone in seconds. So yeah, it's a really big deal.
Yeah. And then we've got the help and support here. I've got some frequently asked questions. I know who to contact. Ian's always the man on things brand, so I can contact him, but I've got frequently asked questions here as well. I'm not going to show a demo of this, but just to kind of go back to the point around having those templates available and deployed here, so they're directly accessible from within Word and PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint deck that we've gone through today, that was built using our standard template. That lives in one single place. If we need to make a change to it, we make a change to it, and it's instantly available to everyone. It's all consistent. We've got all of our colors, all of our fonts, all of our heading styles. Everything is there. So if Ian and I need to create a presentation, we open up PowerPoint, click the template, and we can be assured that the colors are right, the images are right, that all of the fonts are correct, and they're always consistent as well, and just available in a single location. Do you have any questions, Ian?
We've one question so far, Simon. How does MergeAI sit alongside SharePoint portals that you help us configure?
Well, MergeAI, all of these components are built within SharePoint. If you could elaborate on the question, Simon, that would be really helpful, and then we can kind of maybe address that at the end. If there's something a little bit more specific, if you could kind of let us know, or we can follow up after the webinar. Right, we move on from the brand center and we go into the employee hub. One of my favorites, because there's a lot going on in this one. There's some automation, there's some really useful and interesting use cases in here. So you can see there at the top, I've got my carousel. It's a small thing, but it's a new feature that Microsoft finally introduced quite recently, and it just allows me to kind of have a rotating banner with common links. So I've got my frequently asked questions, I've got my policies. This will kind of just rotate around. But as Ian said, this is the place to go to find out everything I need to know about working for my organization. So we've got things like the leadership team, So I can log into this. I can see the message from our CEO. Brownie points to anyone who can let me know who said this quote. If anyone knows where that quote comes from, put it in the comments, and extra brownie points to you. And then we've got the leadership team, all front and center, all really easily accessible. If I want to look at our mission and culture, again, available here, what we're all about, what our 5-year plan is. And this is a tabbed interface, so I can kind of click through here and understand what's happening in year 1, what's happening in year 3. It's all kind of there and up to date. Policies. Now, policies is a big one. I'm just going to click through and look at, say, the dress code policy. It's a very, very common use case, and we see this all the time, that organizations have an employee handbook. So when a new starter joins the organization, they usually email this. The file will sit on a file server, maybe sit somewhere in SharePoint, and they're emailed it. And it's not the easiest thing to kind of wade through and to digest. And if anyone's got any questions or needs to refer to it, they've kind of got to dig through their email, or they've got to email someone in HR and say, oh, what was the policy on this? So what this allows you to do is to take that information, take it out of the PDF, surface that into easily navigable bite-sized chunks. So as you can see from the menu here, it's broken down into people, it's got broken down into governance and into technology. So all of my different policies are really, really easy to find. So if I want to find out what the dress code is, I can just easily click on it. I can kind of look through here and go, yeah, okay, right, I know how to dress for the office. We dress in Iglu gear. As you can see, I've got the policy owner at the top, so I'm the owner of this policy, and there's a next review date on that. In this case, it's overdue. What this allows me to do, this is where some clever piece of automation comes in. So you might have all of these policies. There might be HR policies, there might be health and safety procedures. It can be any piece of content. But for anything that needs to be reviewed for, say, compliance purposes, it's important that they are reviewed at a specific time. And if you're kind of managing these manually, and that's a use case we see quite a lot, it can be a real nightmare for someone to kind of track all of that and say, right, Ian's responsible for maintaining this policy. He needs to review it by the end of June. It's coming up into June. I need to find out that it's coming up for renewal. I need to email Ian. I need to chase him. And none of that is audited and logged. So what we have in place here is an automation which runs and sends me reminders for these. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run this automation manually. You would normally run this once a week, early on a Monday morning, something like that. And what that automation does, it scans ahead for the next 30 days and finds any policies which are kind of coming up for review, finds the person who's responsible, and it sends them a Teams messages, sends them that reminder to let them know that they need to do something. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to jump on over to Teams, which I've got here. And just in the nick of time, that message has just popped through. So you can see via workflows, I've got a chat here with the workflows bot. It sent me this message today at 10:33 telling me that an HR policy page is required. There's the page. I can kind of click through, look at the page, review that. I can see the last review date and the next review date. Great thing about this is it's all automated. And if I don't do it, it'll just keep reminding me every week and bugging me and bugging me and bugging me until I do it. And if you want to escalate that to say if it's ignored for 2 weeks or it becomes overdue, you can kind of send that to a manager. But the idea behind that is I will review this, I will mark it as complete. Then this review date will be updated to a point in the future. And that kind of depends on your own policies. It might be 6 months, it might be a year. That date moves. So the next time that automation runs, it says, this isn't due for review, it's all done, and it leaves me alone, doesn't bug me for the next year or so. Really useful automation, not just here within policies, not just here within SharePoint pages, but it can be applied to any piece of content. So that can be Word documents, PDFs, SharePoint pages as we have here. That same model, that same pattern can apply. It's really popular. We have lots of customers using this. We've got one customer who used it against a library of around 2,500. They're kind of standard operating procedure documents. And prior to this automation, they were doing exactly what I was alluding to earlier. They had a spreadsheet tracking everything, and one person had to kind of look through that weekly, see what was coming up, email the person and track it. Now it's all tracked, it's all audited, it's all recorded in the background. You can report on that. So if for compliance reasons you're ever audited and they say, when was this policy reviewed and by whom? All of that is there in the background. You can look at it and say, oh, well, Ian was sent a reminder on the 27th of March. He reviewed it and signed it off on the 30th, all audited. As well as the policies, we've got access to benefits to which I have access. So we got the gym membership with further links. And I have onboarding information as well. So for new employees, I've got an onboarding timeline here using a custom component, which just tells me all of the steps that I need to kind of go through to complete my induction. So I've got meeting my manager, I've got having lunch with my team, attending my first project meeting. And as with all of these solutions, I've got my frequently asked questions and who I can contact as well. Any further questions, Ian, while I take a drink?
Yeah, Simon's kindly expanded on that. So is MergeAI an alternative to SharePoint customization that we've previously demonstrated in one of our early webinars where we're talking about employee experience, compliance, etc. Yeah. Is this an AI-friendly configuration / template that you apply to the SharePoint? I'm just trying to understand how this differs from one of your previous webinars on SharePoint configuration. Good question.
It's a good question. And as Ian alluded to, this is our own customized SharePoint templates overlaid into the SharePoint platform, delivering automation and delivering solutions and data that is ready for AI.
And also
a little later in the demo, we'll kind of show that AI working against this kind of structure. Yes.
Yeah. And I guess in simple terms, MergeAI, Merge obviously being to combine things. We've got separate standalone solutions. You've got Teams, you've got Copilot, you've got SharePoint, and all the great stuff that we do in SharePoint. They can all stand alone, and you can have them done separately. But MergeAI is all about having this as a bundled solution, which brings all that magic straight away and costs you less money. Simple as that, really.
Yeah. Happy to have further conversations on that, Simon, if you'd like. Okay, so we've been through the employee hub. Let's go on to the training hub. Another one I really enjoy because of the automations which are built into that. So here we've got access to my training hub. It's the place that holds training information for numerous Microsoft products, Teams, OneDrive, Copilot as well. So we have modules in here for Copilot, as well as customized training for this interface itself. So the employee hub and any of the other modules, any training that is delivered would be stored within here. And you can see here I've got access to all of the training courses. I've also got my training dashboard. But if I just click through into our training courses, I can scroll through. I've got using OneDrive, using Teams. I've got using Copilot. If I click through into, let's say, using Teams chat, and click through, I've got all of these links, how to start a chat in Microsoft Teams, all linking off to high quality curated Microsoft training modules. The training hub is also flexible enough. If you want to put your own training material in there, you've got a system that you use, whether that's something that's bespoke or it's perhaps your expenses system, and you want to put some training pages in here. There are templates available there where you can create that training material, and then you can use the admin features, which I'll show shortly, to assign that training to users and make sure that they're actually completing the training. Because guess what? If you're assigned a piece of training and you don't complete it, the automation will remind you and it will keep bugging you until you've done it. So it's a great way to make sure that people are actually completing the training. So rather than you just assigning it to them and then hoping that they will actually complete it, you can keep track of that. So if I just click over into the My Training page, this is individualized for me, so every user would see their own dashboard. So here I've got a Copilot prompting course, which is overdue. I would have received a reminder about that. And any of my courses here, I can just kind of click through, read that page, complete the training, come back here and mark that as complete. And then I've got some training certificates. When you complete a particular piece of training, a certificate is generated on the fly for you. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark this particular piece of training as complete, and my automation is kind of going to kick in the background, and I will receive a notification shortly to say that a training certificate has been generated, and it will appear within here. And again, we've got frequently asked questions, who do I contact for help? From the administration side, as an admin, I can choose to assign any particular piece of training. I'm going to assign this to me. I'm going to give this a due date of next Friday. I'm going to select one of my training page, which is going to be using Copilot in Excel. And I can save that. What's going to happen in the background, an automation is going to kick in and it's going to send that particular piece of training to me, again, in a Teams message. And there I've got a training admin list. So I can see, you can see this was overdue. It's now being completed. And this was a previous course that was assigned to me. So I've got full access to who's had training assigned, so I can keep track of it. If I move on over to Teams and I wait patiently, my notifications will kick in. What I'll do while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go back to my training. You can see that has already been assigned to me. The message I can see my Teams has just lit up. I've received the message to say that training assignment using Copilot and Excel. This is what the training module is. This is when it's due, and I've got the link there. If I don't complete that, an automation will remind me on a weekly basis to let me know that I need to kind of do something with that. And then if I look at my certificates, while that's generating in the background for my new one, again, these are, as I've completed a course, it's generating a PDF dynamically with the data, with my name, with the course I've completed, with the date, with a custom signature, with some branding. So it's generating that PDF, it's uploading it and storing it directly in SharePoint, and that's permissioned, so only I see it. There are a couple of ways you can do that. You can make it completely private, which some people opt for. Some people like to make that open and have a little bit of gamification around training certificates. The options are kind of there. Okay, so we've gone through all of the modules. We've gone through Home, we've gone through Teams, we've gone through the Branding Center, we've gone through the Training Hub and the Employee Hub, and some of those automations that surround it. So we did say that that's AI ready. So how can a structure like this support AI? So I'm going to jump on over to Copilot. I have my Copilot screen here. You can access it, as many of you know, through the web browser or through Teams. And what I've got here, I've got a couple of custom agents, which I've written. I've got one called MyHR. And this is specifically written to look at the information that sits within my Employee Hub. Remember the analogy I made earlier in the call where I said, if your data is just like a big pile of books on the floor, Copilot might be able to find the information. If the information was scattered and I said to it, what's the maternity policy, or what's the dress code? Copilot might be able to find it, but it's got to sift through a lot of information and it may pull up spurious results. Having that data in a neat, organized filing cabinet, having it within the Employee Hub, which delivers exactly that, gives me then the ability to create an agent to say, just look at this piece of information and allow people to interact with it, whether that's a small site or it's very, very large. So I have this agent, which is programmed to reason over the data stored within my Employee Hub. I can ask it general questions. So I'm going to ask it, what is the maternity policy? And this agent has been instructed to look specifically at that site and no other site. Don't look out on the internet. Targeted very, very specifically. And here we go. This gives me information on the leave that I'm entitled to, pay, health and safety, return to work. And it's giving me that reference. There's the maternity page, so I can kind of click through and read more information on that. I can say, what if I am sick? So I haven't said, what is the policy? I've just said, what if I'm sick? Copilot is smart enough to kind of understand the concept of that, understand the context of my question. If you're unable to work due to, here's the sickness policy, and this is the process for reporting sickness, certificates, sick pay entitlement, all of that usual information. Really interesting use case, and we've had quite a lot of interest in this. Another one, which I'm going to show you, is really making use of an agent, not only to look at information, but to generate content. So I've got my proposal wizard over here. So I've configured this particular agent to look at product documents. These are dummy products. But what it's able to do, it's able to reason over that content. It's able to understand what is in the documents, what the features and benefits of these products are, as well as pricing. So I'm able to talk to this wizard and say, generate a proposal. So I am just going to paste in my prompt. I'm just going to copy. Got a little dot there. So the documents I've got, this company sells drones. So I've asked this particular agent to write a proposal for 1,000 basic drones, 500 intermediate drones, 250 advanced drones. The agent has been configured to look at the documents, outline the features and benefits, pull in more information as well as pricing. So all I need to do is say, just write me a proposal for these numbers, and this is what I'm looking for. So I click go, and this is looking over that specific documents. I've told it this is what I'm looking for. Just let it finish, and we'll go to the top and read through it. I told it that I want to output my content as your requirement. This is what you want, what the solution is, and then outline the features and benefits of each of those products. So it's given me the flight performance on the Drone X Pro, what its benefits are, the features and benefits of the ultra advanced drone and the X2000 there. And I've asked it for pricing. So it knows the pricing and it's given me this kind of summarized table there. So I can say, okay, they're $799. We're looking at £799,000. I've got a full pricing list, and it's also listed out all of the optional extras there as well. So that's a real use case of using AI against a highly structured system like this to not only retrieve information, but to be able to kind of generate that content. We use this internally against our own products. And if you're a customer of ours and you've had a proposal sent to you fairly recently, there's a very, very good chance that your technical account manager used our own internal proposal wizard, which is configured to look at our products and look at the descriptions of all of the features and the benefits and the pricing. So our account managers come in, they ask the bot a question, and it generates the content for them that they then pick up, they paste that into Word, saving them so much time.
And it doesn't just have to be a sales proposal, does it? This is an example
Oh,
how you can use this kind of technology.
Yeah, that's just one potential use case for it. It's one that we use internally, and it's a good one to demonstrate. But yeah, it could be, you're right, Ian, it could be any kind of content, really.
Yeah, and you imagine the hours saved by you going into all the various documents that you've got held in your system.
And knowing where they are as well.
Yeah, knowing where they are.
Is that where's that document? Is it in this?
Yeah.
Oh no, that one's not there. It's in my OneDrive. Oh, I'll share it with you. Oh yeah, well that's actually in 2 places, and I'm not quite sure which is the latest version. having them stored in the background in a single location, configuring the agent to say, look here for those documents, look here for the pricing. And when someone asks you the question, this is the format I want you to output that in. Really helps with people finding information, really helps with people generating the content. And again, going back to, consistency, just making that response consistent.
Indeed.
Right, I'm going to stop sharing that. And we will go back to the deck.
No further questions at this stage.
No further questions.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, if anyone does have further questions, do let us know. Ian.
Yeah. So hopefully, what we've shown you all sounds great. So, what are the next steps? If you're interested in an exploratory chat, it's obviously no obligation. It's just a chat. You want to find out more about it. Scan the QR code, send your form in, and we'll get in touch at a time that suits you, and we'll take from there. Alternatively, technical account manager can get in touch with you directly. So yeah, and just take from there. It's literally a chat just to find out more. There's no hard sell from us. Hopefully, we've shown you enough in this webinar to create a bit of intrigue and interest. And if you want to kind of expand on that, then get in touch. Let's have a chat.
Yeah. And what we'll do, the recording will be sent to everyone who registered. And Ian, are we going to send out the deck as well?
Yes, yeah, send out the deck and the full recording, which will be linked to our YouTube channel. So there's no more questions. So I think we can wrap up, Mark, and save everybody eight minutes and
save everyone
crack
8
on.
minutes.
Yeah, right. Indeed.
Thank you for your time, everyone. I hope you found that useful. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.